All right, part 3 of our camp preview series. We've substituted the head coach. We brought in the defensive coordinator to talk some defense. Defensive coordinator Tyson Veidt. Year 2, how much more comfortable is this? How much better does it feel kind of getting ready for camp year 2? Because I'm assuming a year ago it was a whirlwind, not really knowing everything yet.
For sure. I think the best part about where we are right now is the continuity we have on our depth chart, really. The number of guys that took game reps a year ago, the number of guys that really performed well for us throughout the season. We've got several guys back in the same positions that they played a year ago. So that part is always what you're hoping you have more of than less of. So I feel really good there. So, as you work through, you're hoping your fall camp is really your third install, if you count. Spring is 1, summer is 2, and then fall camp is 3. So we feel like we're certainly a step ahead of this time a year ago, for sure.
Coach talked about last year you having to coach the coaches. When a new coordinator comes in and you're working with the new staff, you've got to teach them what you want and how you want it. How much smoother is that now, maybe that you've got a staff that you're on the same page with and understand you and your system and what you're looking for?
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. Very true. Absolutely very true. And like you mentioned that the Coach Satterfield said, when you're having been a position coach in that area before, it is a difficult spot for those guys to be in as well. Because even here, you would have had, a guy like Walt Stewart, his third defense in 3 years as a coach. And then we had players in the same spot. So I think we had a really productive and progressive spring. And that's really what you're hoping for in areas you could see progress from the end of the season. Last spring, you were just hoping to get guys lined up in the right spot, right? So I think we were able to gauge spring on some progress. And even with some new guys in some new places, but we were still able to do that. And I think through summer now, we've seen progress. We were talking about a number of guys yesterday that you can see through this summer they've improved from the end of spring, which there's times you can't really gauge that. I think we've had a chance to really see that happen. A lot of factors why.
Sure.
A lot of factors why. And even with our strength staff, even with our athletic training staff, them working with the same people over and over again has been great for them as well. So that's been really positive. This
league has the reputation as an offensive league. This is kind of being seen as maybe a year of the quarterback, where last year there was a bunch of great running backs in the league. Now it's maybe shifted to quarterback. As a defensive coordinator, do you have to be like a cornerback almost, like snap and clear? Because sometimes these guys are good and they're going to get you a little bit, sure. and you gotta keep the big picture in mind.
You do. The quarterback is always the guy to me you're trying to affect, irrespective of veteran or not. He's the guy that's going to have the ball in his hands every play. So that's who we're trying to affect on each and every play, whether it's by alignment, whether it's by what's happening post-snap, all of those things. So you're right. There are tremendous quarterbacks in this conference, and week 1, we're certainly facing a tremendous quarterback that's not in this conference.
Yeah.
So each week will be a challenge with that. And each week will be a little bit different with the style of quarterback you're playing too. So that makes it a great challenge for us on defense, without a doubt.
You're probably not upset to see Taj Brooks and Cam Scattaboo and some of those backs go, though.
That's right. Yep.
You were at their graduation, handed them the diploma.
No doubt. We had several tremendous running backs, yeah.
Let's get to position by position. Defensive line. Dontay's back and healthy and not going through all the trials that he went through last year. Have you seen a different, because you didn't get to see him before that.
Right.
Have you seen a different Dontay Corleone?
For sure. Just in his own demeanor and ability to be back to a leader for us.
Yeah.
A year ago this time, he's trying to figure out how he is managing what's going on health-wise, which was the number one concern. Now he is back to being a leader for us, not just with the defensive line, but with the entire defense and the entire team, really. So it's awesome to have him back for sure.
Micah Coleman, Jalen Hunt back. I know that was a crushing blow last year to lose the two of them before the season. Where are they at in their recoveries, and what are you expecting from those two guys?
Yeah, and two guys that we were talking about yesterday with the progress, because missing an entire season with both injuries very serious. You never know how anybody's going to come off an injury naturally. So through spring, really just getting them back into football, in a stance, in a first step, all those things, to now where we can see both guys more comfortable in where they are physically, comparative to where they were at the beginning of spring too. So that's been a lot of fun for us, and I know it's been great for those guys to have confidence back.
What else in that room? I know Marquez Parker is a name that's gathering a lot of attention. Jalen White-McLean coming in as a transfer. Who else can we look for in that room behind those three guys?
Sure. Well, you've got guys that have played a lot of snaps in there. Rob Jackson's played a ton of snaps for us, is back for his senior year of football, which is awesome. Clearly, you mentioned Dontay. Marquez Parker took over 200 snaps for us as a true freshman a year ago. So you've got guys that had tremendous springs. Drew Logan has improved every single day that I've been here. Certainly excited about what he's doing. You mentioned guys that came in the spring with Jalen White-McLean and CJ McCray. Both still guys that are learning, obviously just getting here, but are progressing in what we're doing through the summer. Isaiah Rogers came, in June. So you've got varying degrees of ages and guys there. We've got what we think is a tremendous group of guys that will be true freshmen in there that just like a year ago, we weren't talking really about Marquez Parker right now, and emerged to be a guy that took meaningful snaps for us. Hopefully one of those guys does the same thing that Marquez did. That's what you're hoping for. With
all those names, you have to feel a lot better about the depth in that room, because that was an issue last year.
Absolutely. Yep, was very much an issue. The good of it, Marquez got reps, and he probably wouldn't have if everybody was healthy, So that's the awesome part. Now he's a sophomore with 200 reps. So with all of the things that weren't a lot of fun, some great opportunities and progression was certainly came out of that.
You're a linebacker coach by trade.
Yep.
You're not coaching, you're coaching safeties, but when you look at that linebacker group, does that feel like what a higher end of the Big 12 linebacker room has looked like to you?
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. We've got depth there. A year ago this time, we didn't feel like we had depth, played a couple of true freshmen and created depth by those guys, So that part was awesome for us. Obviously got Jack Dingle back, who is as awesome as a Bearcat as you can have, right there with Dontay, obviously. I think by figuring out what we have and where guys are best there, we've got Jack in a better spot mentally and physically both too. So that's been a lot of fun. Collectively to see him be able to be a guy that's a coach on the field now as well, instead of a guy that's trying to figure out, again, what would have been what number of defense that guy would have been in.
Yeah.
Right.
4 in 4 years. Golday, you could see at the beginning of last year, he was maybe thinking a little bit more than just playing free, and then as season got on, he started to play a little bit more free.
I agree.
What kind of jump are you looking for from him? Because he's got every trait that you could want.
Right. Yep. You're hoping, right, that he picks up right where he left off naturally. 1, 2, can he help us in some different spots, not just at Sam linebacker for us? We're hopeful for that, and we were able to work him in the spring in some other spots as well, because our goal is still with great depth, then hopefully you're at your best in the fourth quarter and at your best at the end of the season. That's what you're hopeful for with really good, strong depth.
Thompson, Coleman,
Absolutely.
Whedon, that's the part that makes you feel a lot better than you did if I had you in this chair a year ago.
No doubt. Brian Sims.
Yeah.
I mean, could be the guy that's had the best summer of everybody, maybe, which is what you're hoping for too. Has confidence and has really worked on the things that he's been challenged to work on. So it's an awesome group of guys that love football too. I think that's the cool thing.
Any young guys to keep an eye on there, or anybody that might surprise us like we got last year?
We constantly are preaching to our guys that we're going to need everybody. A year ago we were doing the same thing, and I'm sure there were true freshmen sitting in there thinking, "Come on, coach," and then you end up playing.
2 of them play.
Yeah, several, right? So we had Miles Harrison and Trail Holcomb came in as early enrollees and got probably talking with both sets of parents after the one spring practice. Got a lot more reps than they might have been thinking they were going to get, which is good and bad too, because they were worn out at the end of spring. But have made just the physical growth they've made in the time they've been here that I can't imagine that we're not going to need them. Right? That's the bottom line. Yeah, but they've got guys in front of them that are just a year separated that can. Hey, listen, like.
You got to be ready.
You got to be ready. Yeah, absolutely.
Safety. Do you still have name tags on everybody? How's the safety room playing out right now?
Well, as you know, 2 of them moved to corner, which it certainly has really helped both of those guys, helped our defense as well, helped that position room. Trey is back, obviously, as a guy that took a ton of reps for us a year ago on special teams and game reps. So he's of the 2 outside groups, he's really the guy there that's got the game experience at the middle safety spot. Obviously Jaquan Sanks is back and Antoine Peak is back, and those guys played tremendous for us a year ago and are healthy as well now, and those things that are exciting for us too. So and then had some new guys come in the spring that have really, to me, fit right in with their work ethic, have fit right in with what we're looking for with effort and attitude and toughness and those things, and have progressed each day they've been here too to head into the year. Yeah.
And with Xavier and with Harrison, you talked about their versatility. Is that still something you're looking at where you can move them around?
Yeah. And we've continued to do that, right? So those guys are really, for lack of a better term, our swing guys. They can play more than one spot mentally and physically both, which is always what you're looking for. Taden Barnes, went through the spring with us, obviously. We've primarily kept him as the field safety. Had a really good spring for us too. Is better, number one, with all the communication things than he was in the spring too. So that's been fun for us as well. But as many guys, and we haven't done it yet, but Jaquan Sanks can probably play more than one spot for us. Quavo Sabor can probably play more than one spot for us. So we're working as many guys as we can, especially as we prepare for fall camp here, to have guys mentally ready to do that.
Is Quavo back ready to go, or is that going to be a work back in progress?
Yeah, he is working back in. Yep, and will be ready to go by the time the season hits. He is, progressing through. So, practice 1, will he do everything? Practice 1, he won't do everything, but he'll be able to do some things. Yeah.
And then corner, you bring in McDoom, you move Logan Wilson back to corner.
Yep.
What's the vibe in the corner room? And it seems like those 2 guys are kind of leading the pack. What's the depth look like as well?
Yeah, I think it's a unique group at corner because you've got varying degrees of 1, experience, 2, body types, and 3, skill sets. So guys returning there, obviously Armani Arnold, who played quite a bit for us a year ago. Logan, who played quite a bit for us a year ago, just in a new spot now, Matt, obviously new coming in, but is a guy that's got a ton of game reps clearly at that position. And then, you have Kai Stokes, who played certainly defensive snaps for us, was a key special teams guy for us. And, his body type is different than all of them. So you've got that group. Now you've got Danny James, who got better the second half of spring, which we were hoping for. And he's a guy that we would love for him to come on and be competing in that group. So that spot is, the thing about corner is those guys do a lot of running. They're certainly going to have to tackle guys as well. So you can't go through the season with 2 or 3 corners. Yeah. So Coach Hicks has done a great job of working those guys in even through the spring in different situations, different down and distances, all of those things. So it's a exceedingly more competitive room than a year ago. Attitude in there is awesome. Logan's done a great job. Kai's done a great job of really being, the vocal and being instrumental in that group too. And both guys were excited about the move, which is what you're hoping for. Yeah.
In the all nickname team, Sauce is now the highest paid corner in the NFL.
He is.
How's Gravy doing?
Doing well. Yeah, doing well. He's obviously a guy that you physically look at him is gonna, he's still doing so much developing.
Yeah.
That it's, but the sky's the limit for that guy for sure.
All right. Max Fletcher. Do you ever do what I do sometimes when he kicks the ball? You just stand there and watch it in the air? Because his hang time is unbelievable.
It is,
I know you're not special teams coach, but...
Yeah, there's
you
nothing
help.
Matter with a great punter, for sure. So, it's interesting because, it is different than his brother. He's a different style of guy, right?
Yeah.
With some similarities.
Looks the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're excited to have him. Yeah.
All right. Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.